Hey everyone. All right, so we're diving into the world of crypto today.
Diving deep.
But, and I know everyone's probably heard this a million times, we're going way beyond Bitcoin.
Beyond Bitcoin. Music to my ears. It's a big world out there.
It is a big world, and I think that's what we really want to get across to people. It's like, you see the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
Everyone's like, Bitcoin, 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 but what's going on beneath the surface?
Exactly. It's easy to get lost in the hype. Everyone wants to be the next Bitcoin millionaire.
Right, right.
But what's really fascinating is the incredible diversity of these digital assets.
Okay.
Each one tells a different story. It has its own tech, its own purpose,
Mm-hmm.
its own potential.
So, I guess we do have to start with Bitcoin.
We got to pay respects to the OG.
Right, it's like mentioning, I don't know, the internet without talking about dial-up. You kind of got to do it.
A little history lesson for sure.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So for those who maybe are just dipping their toes into this world, what is Bitcoin at its core?
So Bitcoin's brilliance, really, if you want to boil it down, is in its simplicity. It proved that a decentralized currency,
Okay.
a currency without a central bank, could actually work.
Wow.
And it does this using something called blockchain, which is this ingenious public ledger
Okay.
that keeps track of every transaction, makes sure everything is secure and transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Revolutionary back in 2009 when it first came out.
Okay, so I've heard this term before and I kind of know what it means, but for someone who doesn't, what does proof of work mean in the context of Bitcoin?
Right, so proof of work.
It sounds like a hard workout.
It does. Picture a giant digital ledger, right? Like a massive accounting book. Now, miners, which are basically computers on the Bitcoin network,
Okay.
they're all competing to be the one to add the next page to this ledger.
Okay.
They do this by solving these really complex mathematical equations.
Wow.
And this process, that's your proof of work. It's like a huge Sudoku puzzle that proves they've earned the right to add to the chain. Now, it's energy intensive, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
It's what makes Bitcoin so secure. Like, to tamper with it.
It's like Fort Knox for money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd need an insane amount of computing power to even attempt it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So moving on then, I guess in our little crypto safari here.
What's next in the itinerary?
Yeah, what's next on the itinerary? Let's talk about Ethereum.
Yeah.
Because that always seemed, to me at least, as Bitcoin's like cooler, more versatile
Little
cousin.
The cooler, younger sibling, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. What's the deal with Ethereum?
So think of Ethereum less as a currency, okay, and more like a giant decentralized world computer.
Oh.
Anyone can use it to build applications, and this is where things get really interesting, because this is where we get into smart contracts.
Smart contracts.
Yeah, have you ever used like one of those like vending machines where it not only dispenses your snack, but it gives you the correct change?
Yeah.
Right. That's a very, very basic analogy, but imagine that. But it's all coded into the blockchain.
Wow.
So you've got these agreements, these transactions
Mm-hmm.
that execute automatically when certain conditions are met.
So it takes out like the middleman out of a lot of these transactions?
Exactly. It cuts out the need for lawyers, for brokers, for all these intermediaries.
Oh.
It's all about automating trust.
Okay, so Ethereum is less about the money itself
It's a platform.
and more about what you can do with it.
A platform for innovation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're talking, everything from supply chain management
Okay.
to like more efficient ways to manage digital assets. Like, think about it, like your online identity, your data,
Right.
all of that could potentially be managed on a decentralized platform like Ethereum.
That's huge. So we're already starting to see like how big this world gets.
Oh, we're just scratching the surface.
Scratching the surface.
Barely even left base camp here.
So what other exciting creatures are roaming this jungle?
Well, let's see.
Besides these two big ones.
Besides the big dogs, right?
Yeah.
Besides the Bitcoin and the Ethereum.
Yeah. Are there any altcoins out there? Any other cryptocurrencies that like we should really have on our radar?
Oh, absolutely. There are literally thousands of altcoins out there.
Right.
Each one with its own unique approach. It's
Yeah.
kind of like picking your character in a video game, right?
Right.
Each one has its own strengths and weaknesses. So like, let's take Litecoin, for example.
Okay.
It aims to be like Bitcoin's faster, like little sibling, designed for everyday transactions, quicker confirmations, lower fees.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Ripple, which completely different beast, right?
Yeah.
They're all about making banks happy.
Okay.
smoothing out those cross-border payments, making them faster, cheaper, more efficient.
Interesting.
And those are just two of like the more, I guess, well-known.
Right.
But like I said, there's thousands out there.
And they each probably have like their own little quirks about them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got
It's
everything.
like a whole zoo.
You've got everything from, privacy coins
Right.
that are like super focused on anonymity
Yeah.
to like these really experimental platforms that are trying to like reinvent how we think about decentralized application.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? You mentioned this earlier, and I wanted to circle back because I've heard like whispers about this one, Cardano.
Cardano, yes.
What is it about Cardano that makes it like stand out?
So Cardano is super interesting because it's developed with this like really strong academic focus,
Okay.
which is kind of unusual in the crypto space. It's like move fast and bring things.
Right, right.
Cardano is all about peer review,
Interesting.
rigorous testing. Like they want to make sure
Right.
that their tech is rock solid.
Got it.
They're aiming for that long-term security and sustainability, which, in a world where you've got rug pulls and like, flash in the pan coins popping up every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, Cardano is like the really methodical.
The slow and steady wins the race approach.
The tortoise, not the hare.
I like it.
Exactly.
So I think that's a really good overview, I think, of kind of like the lay of the land here.
The tip of the iceberg.
The tip of the iceberg. So for someone, though, who is like, say, interested, they've listened to all this, they're like, okay, cool, this makes sense. How do they sift through all of this?
Right.
How do they figure out what's right for them? Because it can feel overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's such an important point you bring up, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in the hype.
Right.
You see these coins pumping on Twitter, you hear people talking about, oh, this is the next big thing. But you got to look beyond that. Okay. Don't just chase the hype train. Like, first and foremost, dive deep into the technology. Understand what you're actually investing in.
So, like, do your research?
Do your research.
Don't just take someone's word for it.
Exactly. Don't blindly follow some, influencer.
Right.
Look at the white paper, understand the technology, think about it.
Okay.
Is this scalable? Is this actually secure? What problem is this specific coin trying to solve?
Right.
Is it a real problem? Another big one.
Because some of them aren't?
Some of them, they're solutions looking for a problem, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But look at the team behind it as well, right?
Okay.
Do they have a solid track record? Are they transparent? Is there a community around this project?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a huge green flag because it shows that there's actual people who are invested in this, not just from a financial perspective, but they believe in the project.
It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
100%. You need that community support, especially in the crypto space where things move so quickly.
This has been incredibly helpful. I feel like I've learned so much. And I'm really excited, actually, to kind of like keep digging into this world.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
This is like the first step in your crypto journey, right?
Yeah.
What's really exciting to me is that we're still so early in this whole like blockchain revolution.
It feels that way. Yeah.
We're just scratching the surface of what's possible. And who knows what the future holds. But it's an exciting time to be involved, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that note, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Sounds good to me.
But to everyone listening, this is your official invitation to like jump down the rabbit hole, right?
Go down the rabbit
Do
hole.
your research, explore, have fun with it. This is a wild world out there.
Stay curious.
And until next time.
See you later.